Moving across to New Orleans at Tampa. This is the battle for the NFC South that nobody wanted to see. Fairly low over-under. It feels like this Bucs offense is really humming, and it's nice because it's condensed into 4 startable options. Is there anyone else outside Evans, White, Baker, Godwin that you're interested in?
No, because you look at this Saints defense, and particularly without Marshawn Lattimore, it takes away that worry that we might have had about Mike Evans having to face his nemesis. Then you look at what Rachaad White's doing. Last week, he struggled against a pass funnel defense of Jaguars. You know, he posted his lowest yards per carry of the season, but he made up for it by seeing a 20% target share for the first time this week. Baker Mayfield, he's thrown for multiple touchdowns in the last 3 games. Even when the last time these two teams met in week 4, he had 22.9 points. He is doing everything consistently, and it's not going to anyone outside of the, Mayfield, White, Evans, and Godwin. Yes, there are games where, okay, K. Dalton's going to pop up with a touchdown. But K. Dalton, even in the games where he scored a touchdown, quite often ends up on like 9.4 points. He's just sadly not a relevant player this year. And then on the other side of things, Chris Olave, I think you could start him with complete confidence. He's been over 110 yards in 3 of the last 4 games, and the Bucs allow the 4th most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. Juwan Johnson's had back-to-back games with touchdowns, finishes tight end 11 and tight end 5. Tampa allow the 5th most fantasy points to the tight end position. Alvin Kamara, possibly be a little bit worried about him. He had his worst finish of the year last week. RB38, he had 16 yards, 16 receiving yards, which was like by far a good result for him. And then you look at the Bucs, and they're not a team that gives up loads of receiving yards to opposing running backs. But Derek Carr, I mean, he's coming off his best fantasy performance of the year, 25 points, QB2, second 3-touchdown game of the year. So it feels like if I was going to play this game from a DFS point of view, I'd be looking at the pass catchers, maybe Rachaad White. But in terms of redraft, you kind of have to start Alvin Kamara if you're in the fantasy playoffs. He's got you here, and you just got to have a little faith that you can have a better week this week.
Yeah, it feels like we talked in the middle of the season that he had that crazy high target volume that he was getting, 7-8 receptions, and it was giving you that floor. Feels like that's reduced slightly in the last few weeks, and he's no longer giving you that, bankable 10 points a game that, just in the receiving game. So hopefully he gets right here, but it is a tough matchup. We know that, that Bucs defense, particularly since they've benched White, it's better against the pass, and hopefully that means that Kamara can kind of break out of that. But Jerry's back in the chat asking Najee Harris or Godwin this week. That's Godwin for me, presuming PPR.
Yeah, I'd go Godwin as well. I do like the matchup for Najee Harris, but I prefer this one for Godwin.
Yeah, absolutely. And, had a couple of good weeks since his wife tweeted. Hopefully he can continue that run and keep it going. Before we move on to our next matchup, help us with our goal. Tom and I sat down and we said we want to hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of the season. We are so close. We are so close. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead, do so. Let's click subscribe right now. We have got so much planned for the off-season. Do it now, and it will help you later.